Did you know that in 2024, Burkina Faso's military will turn the tide against insurgents using tactics that feel like they're straight out of a Hollywood action movie? With lightning-fast strikes and meticulous planning, they're outsmarting groups that have terrorized the region for years. How exactly are they pulling this off? What strategies are they employing to gain the upper hand? Imagine a dusty, sun-baked landscape where silence is broken only by rustling leaves and distant gunfire. In this arena, Burkina Faso's forces are not just fighting. They are strategically ambushing their foes. Today, we'll dive deep into the tactics reshaping the battlefield in this West African nation. Chapter 1. The Insurgent Landscape in Burkina Faso. The rise of insurgency. Currently, Burkina Faso has experienced new forms of violence in the last few years, particularly terrorism by Jama'at Nasr al-Islam wal-Muslimin, JNIM, and affiliate groups of ISIS. This has created a humanitarian problem in the world by forcing millions of people from their homes and destroying as many lives as possible. The situation became critical in many areas of the country, and since 2015, the number of attacks has become significantly higher. The government has, most of the time, lacked the ability to control such groups, and the militants, on the other hand, have had a very hard time trying to quell these well-coordinated and facilitated insurgent groups. Understanding the threat, these insurgents are not simple militias. They are sophisticated and complex structures with status in society that use local discontent as leverage. They are located in the Sahel area, where aggressive poverty leads to the growth of these groups due to a lack of governance in the area. Some of them include the following. The insurgents mostly hire local people and assure them of protection and a source of income. This has hampered the efforts of the military to counter them, since many people are in a dilemma on which side to support, being part of the community or just afraid of the repercussions from the terrorists. Chapter 2. The shift to ambush tactics. What are ambush tactics? What is more, the ambush is a kind of warfare where some armed forces surround and attack a larger enemy that has no idea about it. This method involves a lot of strategy, time, and optimal timing, which is when the predator is nearest to the prey. With insurgent groups being more numerous most of the time than government forces, ambushes blind Burkina Faso's military, thus creating a balance. Through lightning moves, followed by withdrawal before the enemy counterattacks, they can cause a lot of damage with little danger to themselves. The strategy in action. Local intelligence is gradually being incorporated into Burkina Faso forces in 2024. Thus, to gather information on possible insurgent movements, they rely on cooperation with the leaders of the given community. Besides increasing morale, grassroots strategies also improve the operational efficiency of an organization. Example: suppose some soldiers are in the capacity of spies who have to live among people they are spying on, thereby winning their trust. With such a strategy, one can ambush his or her attackers and deny expected victories to the once seemingly unstoppable insurgents. One entrapment activity that was carried out was the military establishing what appeared to be a checkpoint. When the insurgents move closer to the Burkinabe side, thinking they can get away, the forces spring on them and launch an attack, drubbing them, claiming many lives, and seizing vital items. Chapter 3. Training and Equipment. Enhanced training programs. Indeed, to master these ambush tactics, the Burkina Faso military training programs have been enhanced. That is why soldiers are no longer trained to go to war with force and charge straight into the enemy line, but to go to war silently, sneak through the enemy lines, and act swiftly. This training is very vital because it conditions and prepares the soldiers to work in the random terrain they encounter. They learn the geography of the warfare and the likely staking points of the enemy, together with the psychological warfare. Modern equipment. The military has had its fair share of problems attributed to slashed budgets. However, they have been able to source funds for necessary equipment. With approximately $200 million in defense upgrades, They are purchasing drones, night vision goggles, and better communication equipment, crucial for surprise action and guaranteeing that soldiers have at their disposal everything it takes to operate in the field. For example, the use of drone surveillance gives the commanders a vantage point view of the insurgents' movements and strategy, and they often ambush their locations effectively. Chapter 4. Community engagement and support. Building trust with locals. Surprisingly, the use of popular support is one of the most important phenomena in Burkina Faso's strategy. In developing relations with the civilians, on the other hand, the military obtains important information apart from receiving support. Community engagement is not to collect information, but to establish relationships and a network that you trust. Uniformed personnel are known to grace occasions, assist in development projects, and hear complaints from the public. This approach helps to neutralize the information strategies that the insurgents disseminate and to produce a feeling of security among the population. Community defense initiatives. The government has also started the formation of defense camps and arming the people to defend villages. This phase not only neutralizes insurgent influence, but also sustains military relevance in these regions, out of which it will rarely be withdrawn, unless in periods of political agreement and diplomacy. These defense groups are not militias and are trained by the military, although they are provided with mere rudimentary weapons. It is for this reason that they act as security agencies in charge of reporting any suspicious incidents to the latter. This has been of assistance in several provinces, thereby dropping the insurgent attacks in the southern Thailand region. Chapter 5. Case studies of successful ambushes. Operation Thunderstrike. Burkina Faso forces began Operation Thunderstrike in early 2024, and the objective was a known insurgent location. With the help of local intelligence, they set a trap and arrested several leading insurgents. This particular operation proved the organization's readiness to integrate new strategies. Deployment of the element of surprise entailed the soldiers attacking the insurgents where the latter did not anticipate an attack. The operation affected the insurgent movements and wasted a clear signal to anybody who may want to challenge the military. Lessons learned. These operations have shown the military that experience is indeed a great teacher and have made the military realize that local knowledge is key in any operation. Every such ambush not only neutralizes the insurgent threats, but also strengthens the morale of the troops and the population. For instance, the soldiers, as we have seen in our example, carry out an ambush exercise to get rid of the enemies, and in the process, they conduct themselves in a social interactional process with the people in the society. On a similar note, this continuous learning helps in the fine-tuning of the strategies and tactics used. Chapter 6. Challenges ahead. Ongoing threats. Of course, some problems are still to be solved, even if a lot has been achieved. The overstressed rebels are using tactics that include guerrilla warfare, tactical withdrawals, and booby-trapping vehicles with IEDs, among others, to confront ambushes. All these strategies are relatively dangerous for Burkinabe forces. Therefore, it is critical for them not to relax their guard and always be prepared for a shift in strategy. Incidentally, the insurgents camouflage themselves among the civilians, making it even more difficult to identify and track them down. Resource limitations. The military still has resource limitations and carries with it the ongoing requirements in areas of training, equipment, and backup that are still required. Though there seems to be a strong commitment to the novelty of the tactics and the involvement with the communities, there is light at the end of the tunnel. To make improvements to its military, the government is currently in the process of sourcing more funds and other support from other countries. This involves looking for allies in countries that have successfully used the approach in their fight against insurgents. Chapter 7. The future of Burkina Faso's military strategy. Sustainable solutions. Moreover, it is expected that the main emphasis in developing new strategies for Burkina Faso's military will remain on the creation of long-term viable solutions that directly incorporate the inhabitants of the country. The purpose is to establish military security that would be able to repel guerrilla attacks. This includes fighting not only militants, terrorists, and different forms of rebellion and rebellious actions, but also providing people with food, work, and education, and encouraging proper economic growth. Thus, the government can defund the insurgents by supporting the development of the communities in the province. Regional cooperation. Further, relations with other countries in the nearby region should be maintained. Burkina Faso should embrace the sharing of intelligence and resources where it suspects a link to the terror group, thus improving its operation capacity and forming a formidable force against terrorism in the Sahel. Such security can be achieved through the conduct of combined military exercises and information sharing with countries such as Mali and Niger, among others. Indeed, such collaborations remain critical for dealing with the transnational character of these insurgent groups. France is one of the Burkinabe's allies that have offered military assistance, equipment, and training to the Burkinabe armed forces. United States and United Nations are also among Burkinabe allies. So, what do you think? Can ambush tactics and community engagement truly turn the tide against insurgency? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed this deep dive into military strategy and community resilience, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more insights into global issues. And remember, the next time you hear about a military operation, it might just be a community coming together to reclaim their peace. Thanks for watching.